Hello, everyone. I'm actually hopping on real quick to do something of a really short movie review. This isn't going to be terribly in depth. I just saw this movie. It's by now a movie that's been out for a while. It's the 2016 version of Ben-Hur. Now I know this movie has gotten a lot of flack. A lot of people were offended at the idea of remaking what they considered to be an all-time classic and so on. And honestly, I think it's kind of funny because um, the Charlton Heston film that everybody is holding in such high regard as being an original masterpiece is actually a remake of a film from the silent era, which is based on a novel written in the late 1800s. So honestly, I mean, I don't understand people hating this movie inherently just because it was a remake, especially considering the fact that Heston's version, that's held in such high regard, deservedly, mind you, but held in such high regard, is itself a remake. Sometimes they can actually be quite good. So I went into this without that kind of prejudice in mind, and it's not bad. I mean, I had also heard that this was supposed to be a really lousy movie, really slow, or other people said way too fast, and the performances were awful, and yet I sat down and I watched it, and they weren't. They really weren't. Especially not from the leads. The leads put in some great performances, honestly. Um, Considering that they were making only a 2 hour film, so they were limited in terms of scale as opposed to the older film, I can't really hold abridgment against them. They did get most of the important story beats in there. Um, I thought the chariot race sequence, while not as much of a spectacle as in the Heston film, was still quite exciting and honestly, um, well, a better pod racing scene than what we got in Star Wars. No, but seriously, I did hear that criticism about this movie that its chariot sequence is somehow too long, which I believe it's actually significantly shorter than the original film. So, the Heston film, I should say. So I'm not quite sure why that's a criticism that I've heard, but there it is. Unless I don't know, maybe these people didn't like it in the Heston film either. But it's actually shorter than that pod racing sequence too. I think it's quite the spectacle though, and it is still entertaining. But the driving force of the movie is indeed the two leads. And, watching a man go from being completely consumed by hate and the desire for revenge to being able to love and forgive someone who had done such horrible things to him, it was a great depiction of that, honestly. The ending actually got me a little choked up. But all in all, I want to say that probably the only person I could say didn't have the best performance, kind of phoned it in, was ironically Morgan Freeman. But that's actually not even a big complaint because he still did a good job. Um, I do think that it's kind of interesting that he didn't even try to put on any kind of regional accent or any kind of unique quirk into this character. It was just kind of straight up Morgan Freeman. But on the other hand, it's Morgan Freeman, so you can't really complain. But I mean, nothing about this particular character portrayal from him stood out, but it wasn't terrible either. So all in all, it's a pretty solid film. I'd probably give it a 7.5. It's a good movie. It would be, good to see in the theater, I suppose, at least once. Wouldn't mind owning it for home watching. And if nothing else, it could very well inspire a younger generation to go watch the original film. or if nothing, or even maybe even read the book for crying out loud. So I don't really see where there's any kind of downside to this existing. But yeah, all in all, I definitely recommend people see it. It might not be your thing, it might be your thing, but um, if nothing else, if you want to see it and then watch the classic to see how they stack up against each other, by all means do so, because they're both enjoyable films, and one of them is honestly one of the greatest films ever made. So that's actually it for now. Like I said, this is a short, kind of not very in-depth review, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.